Hi, everybody. Welcome to Soapbox. Today we are chatting with Tyler from Cormorant Cunning Craft. Hi, Tyler.
Hi. Hi.
Um, yeah, we don't have a topic in mind today, so we're just gonna
I mean, it could
basically,
be it could be serpents and nagas. That does seem to be.
yeah. I think that the topic will probably end up being
They tend to follow me about.
that. Also, though, Kurt had a good hot take when we were chatting earlier. He said you only need what was it? You only need to know sidereal or
If you're in IT or a call center, yeah, that was a stupid racist comment. Is basically what I was doing.
and
See,
I,
I was all for tropical, and then I started looking into Sarah's chart, which is like tropically, it's all ruled by Jupiter. It's like she's like just straight. It's all everything's in two signs. It's all Sagittarius and Pisces. And you'd figure with that sort of like stack of of Jupiterian stuff, her life would turn out sort of one way. And then, but if you
Hmm.
actually look at her life, it has not turned out that way. And then if you look at her chart in sidereal astrology, it's not Pisces and Sag, it's Aquarius and Scorpio, and
Hmm.
that makes a lot more sense for
Huh.
her. For me, I've
So
like I can read mine both ways, but I relate to the Vedic one more at this point.
mm, that's really interesting. So it makes me because basically what I've heard is like they all work. Any system that you like dive into will work. It just seems that like some people resonate with one more than others, and
Yeah,
I wonder what that's about.
I
That
don't know, and
actually,
I've
Tyler
I've
had
like
like a good take on this on his Substack. Like I liked it. Like somebody chimed in and like gave some extra nuance, which helped me kind of understand another perspective too. But I liked your take on
it's
why.
so like I when I look at a fucking astrology chart, I want. Oh, can I swear?
You can say
fuck
whatever.
no, you can't fucking swear.
Just no hate speech. We'll get arrested
Done, done deal. So
They'll
yeah,
we'll get imported to the UK and then
and
jailed.
then
Yeah.
arrested.
so like when the dissonance for tropical astrology happens for me when I look and see that my ascendant is right on top of Aldebaran. Like I was born at the heliacal rise of Aldebaran, right? So I would assume, since Aldebaran is the eye of Taurus, that then my ascendant should be Taurus because that's where the fucking star is. However, in tropical astrology, it says no, your ascendant is actually in Gemini, and I say fuck that. And I think for people that really get into fixed stars and stuff,
Mhm.
it's you start gravitating towards sidereal, I think, because it lines up with what you're actually making the most use of. Whereas in tropical astrology, it's all tuned into fucking the seasons or whatever, but I don't give a fuck. Like if spring is Aries, I don't care. I like, first of all, I live in the Pacific Northwest. Spring does not happen when the sun is in Aries. Spring happens whenever the fuck it wants to happen, which is usually much later than that.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's for me, it's just like when why would I want the stars to be out of alignment when the stars are what I'm mostly looking at?
Well, it does seem like part of the mystique and magic of astrology is like you're not studying some abstract concepts, you're studying things that actually exist and you're pointing to them. And I think,
Exactly.
yeah, it takes some of the immediacy of that magic away from just the vibe, I think, in general, when
Yeah,
you're like,
and
it's not actually there. It's not where I
yeah,
thought it was
yeah,
going to be.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
when I look up and see the moon right next to the star Aldebaran, the moon's not in fucking Gemini. It's in. I could see it. It's in Taurus. So shut up. But the thing is it does work both ways, and that's the weird thing. And I've looked into this a lot, like because magically, both are extremely operative, and you can
Yeah.
use both. Like you can use the same election uh either way and get results for whatever sign your specific system says the planet is in, which is
Mm.
that's the fucking weird thing, right? It's like if it works no matter what, then, and this is where I get very chaos magic, is then why does it matter where anything is if you can really get into the mindset that a planet is here and maybe like draw a little talismanic chart or whatever, then do you actually need to wait for the election? And the answer is no, you don't. But people don't like to hear that shit. I've seriously almost posted
Mm.
this thing on Substack like 15 times, and I'm like, I honestly, I just don't think anybody's ready to hear this. Because I've
I've
played around
also
with
thought
this.
about this. Sorry.
I've played around with it a bunch, and the bottom line is, if you can get, if so, say you want an exalted Mars chart, right? So that would be Mars in Capricorn. If you do it in tropical astrology, Mars is actually in Sagittarius, but you can get the results of an exalted Mars when the Mars is not necessarily occupying the sign that it should be in whatever system you're using.
Mm.
Thusly, you can do anything you want.
I think,
Uh,
yeah, I think you're touching on something really interesting here because I've wondered why can't I find a chart that already existed for a perfect election
Mm-hmm.
and draw a circle, a magic circle, and conjure that moment in time and then do the blessing.
You totally can. And the time, like I think we've all come to the conclusion that linear time is horseshit, right? Are we all there?
Yeah.
I have had enough experiences that have.
I'm actually taught on this podcast from the 1800s, just so you
There you
know.
go. See,
Yeah. So,
exactly. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had I've had too many experiences completely outside of time and experienced being outside of time to know personally that it's all just sort of everything happening all at once.
It's more
Uh,
like time is like just a different it's like a different axis for place.
yeah, and it's really, I think the main purpose of time is narrative, because like seriously, you need a starting point and a middle and an end, and without linear time, that gets really muddy. So I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, well
I
that's
went
what Earth
outside of time.
that's what Earth Realm is good for. Like is you drop down here and you have an experience that changes you, whereas like in the higher realms there isn't enough friction or adversity to overcome to actually grow as quickly.
Exactly.
And then like they're in the hell more hellish or more dense realms, it's like there's not enough light to like reach for it and to overcome and yeah. Interesting.
what you're saying about astrology, like the one commonality there is the what's it sounds like it's really the focus and intent of the practitioner that matters more than the system. Like
I
it's like
truly believe that. Yeah.
yeah, like it 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 goes back for it's like you need enough of the system so that the practitioner can believe in it. But I
Yes.
but
Yes.
if you it sounds like if you really, which would probably be very difficult, are on towards a more difficult place, like you really could get to a point where it none of it would ever matter, but it would require such internal centralized faith in your belief structure. Um,
Yeah.
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 It's almost like
Yeah.
you only need enough of a system to have so that you can feel like you aced it within that system so that the confidence and like just the differentiation between something not so great and something badass exists in your mind. You know, you
Yeah.
just need like a
Definitely.
system so you can do well in it.
it's the old adage, right? You got to learn the rules so that you can break them, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's like I know enough about tropical astrology to do tropical astrology readings, and I know enough about Vedic astrology to do some. I mean, like I'm in no means an expert, but I spend a lot of time with Vedic astrology, and the conclusion that I have come to is that it's a very helpful framework, and that using that framework, you can sort of remove the actual time aspect and play with the potential results within that system outside of like where the planets currently are.
Hmm.
It's funny because it also sounds like to get there, like that's more possible for you because you have this relationship you made with whatever the spirit of those systems are.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like there's enough, I guess, juice or connection there that it's kind of like, oh, well, we know you well enough, and I know these things well enough to where we can just sort of we can play outside of what would be more constricting for someone who maybe did not have those relationships too.
That is a very good way to put that. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the spirits that I work with, like because I love looking for good elections. Like I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. I like open up Time Nomad and I'm like, oh, what's coming up in the next few months? And I'll just like go through and go, oh, what's this planet doing and what's that planet doing? And generally, what happens is the spirits that I work with will point me in the right direction and send me towards a good aspect or something to work with. And then I can, if I so desire, noodle around with that and make it like tweak it and make it a little better and just draw that like upgraded chart and still hit it during that election so that
Hmm.
like some of the things still line up, but just sort of just tweak it a little bit. And I've had super good results with that. I have yet to like give anybody these things because it's literally an experiment, and I don't like, who knows? Maybe it'll blow up somebody else's life. I don't want to be responsible for that. I'm fine with blowing up my own life. I'm good at it.
Well, I think there's different kinds of experimental too. Um, there's throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, or just like doing something on a whim without giving it much thought. But then the idea of like if you've spent time in a system, spent time doing a similar kind of work over and over again, maybe having the same kind of spirits you're calling to help you with it, there's an acclimation and like an initiatory sort of thing that goes on over time. And so then at some point when you're like experimenting, it's not just blind, it's educated and it's guided. Uh
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I like everything I do is informed by the spirits that I work with. I mean, they are like, so this is the thing, right? I haven't actually written this because I'm afraid no one will want me to do magic for them anymore. But like I have so little to do with the magic that I facilitate. I am I am super aware of it, and it's not like there's no ego in it for me. I'm not doing it for any reason other than to just help people, and because I like doing it, and the spirits that I work with are like, you should be doing this. But like I seriously, this is my I'm gonna lay this out. I have a Substack post written about this, but I'll give you a preview. It's I open the space and I call the spirits that I work with and I tell them what we're aiming at and I let them cook. And that's
Yeah.
fucking it. There's nothing else. It's not me reciting ancient names. It's not me doing anything other than that. And it's I'm wearing fucking dirty sweatpants and I don't have my ritual structure is, I mean, there is a ritual structure, but it's almost entirely the opening. And then from there, I just let the spirits do what they're gonna do. And the thing is it fucking works. Like, I mean, I've gotten enough feedback to know that. But I also know that like there's no ego in it for me because I have nothing to do with it. I am seriously just the fucking vessel. I call the spirits. They move through me. I am initiated in a mediumship tradition. That's where I met my Nagas. Um, and uh, and I I usually they come in and do their thing, and I thank them when they're done, and most of the time I do a little offering, and that's like the whole shebang.
I think
Well,
this
if
is go ahead, Kurt.
oh yeah, to so you don't feel as weird about that Substack post. I don't know if you know the Four Winds shamanic training.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, so I have a friend that's going through that right now, and really, what you're describing is exactly what they do. You do not do the healing. You
yeah.
facilitate it. You open the space. You hold it. You may direct it a little bit, but you're not the one that's actually doing anything.
No, and that's
And
I
yeah,
think that's like the main that so I see a bunch of people talking about how they're like Western ceremonial magic stuff is no longer working the way it used to for them.
mm,
I've seen
Really?
a bunch of posts on this recently.
Oh, this is
And
interesting.
I like the only thing I can think is like, well, yeah, because in the Western ceremonial magician ethos or whatever, like you're in charge, you're enforcing your will on things, and we have moved away from that. It is no longer that time. The
Yeah.
spirits are fucking here. They are here to get shit done. I mean, like when I work with Nagas, like they just came fucking down on me. And it was like you are like an acceptable vessel for this, and we are going to utilize that and move through you and do this thing. And so while I'm seeing all these posts about this like Western ceremonial magic where it's like you're enforcing your will on things, and I can't speak to everybody. I've just seen a few posts about this. But like the spirits of the land, the spirits of like these old ass spirits are here, and they are here to get shit done, and they are here to change things and sort of remove that like colonial magician vibe, I feel like.
mm,
Yeah, I think this is a really it's like really important for these different modalities to be represented, and I think especially right now, like I'm 1,000% feeling this because I've it's been within the past year that shift has happened for me. And it went from like concocting a ritual beforehand and putting a plan together and then like executing said plan to it has slowly turned into light candle, sit in presence of spirit, and just let what arises be followed through with. Like,
Yeah,
and that's I
100%.
you don't even know what the spell's going to be half the time when you start. It's like you don't even know what you need when you light that candle. And like all this shit about like go in with a clear intention and this and that. It's like if you're still going that command route, yes. Like you wanna do that
Yeah,
for safety, but like if you have a relationship with your spirits where it's like you're held,
yes.
you don't need to be forcing your will on anything because well, you really don't know what's best.
Yeah. And that's a really great caveat. If you know your spirits and you are held by those spirits. Like I would never just fucking call up a random spirit and with no intention and just let them cook. I don't fucking know you, but I do know that these spirits that have initiated me into this like weird Naga mediumship tradition in which I find myself, the tradition of one, um, is that like they know what they're about, and I know that they've got me. They destroyed my life when I went through the initiation. Fucking tore it apart, brick by perfidious brick, and it was a disaster. I mean, it was a full year of just decimation, taking away everything because I was asking for the wrong stuff in my magic. I was doing all this magic, and like this was like 2 years ago. These Nagas just started showing up out of nowhere. I'd had this I had this oh shit, am I allowed to talk about this? Hold on. I gotta double check. Double check real quick before I say something I'm gonna get slapped for. Okay, yes, I'm allowed to talk about this. Okay. So I got to be careful. There are some things that I'm like expressly forbidden to talk about by the spirits that I work with. And so I got to be careful because they do not fuck around. Like when you step out of line, they will correct you. And since they're like ancient dragon Naga spirits, they are not gentle when they do that. So like these Nagas just started showing up, dragons and snakes everywhere. And I had selected this like Thuban election, and it was during Nag Panchami, or like is in the 2 weeks between Nag Panchami. Nag Panchami is a Naga celebration in Vedic, in the Vedic calendar, and since there are two systems, one of them starts the month at the new moon, one of them starts the month at the full moon, and so there's a fortnight set, like a fortnight where one Nag Panchami happens, and then a fortnight later another Nag Panchami happens, and within that fortnight there was this great Thuban election, and it also happened to be the feast of Saint Bartholomew was also smashed in there, and Saint Bartholomew is syncretized to Oshimare, who was like that was the first like serpent spirit that I met. He's the rainbow serpent in Umbanda and different ATRs. And he's awesome. He's fucking incredible. But so in the month leading up to this, there were the air was thick with Nagas and dragons, and there were snakes everywhere. And I did this thing. Sasha Ravich has on her Patreon an invocation of Thuban that is super intense and really, really powerful. And I did that for a fortnight, about just like kneeling down in front of this celestial dragon and calling all of these dragons and Naga spirits that I could feel around me. And I was like, I want to be, oh God, I feel so embarrassed even saying this. I was like, I want to be so wealthy that I don't have to go to work anymore. You know, like I want to be comfortably well off enough to where like my family is provided for, and I just get to spend time with my family. Cause like, that's what I want is so I wasn't entirely sure why I wanted money, but you know, like Nagas are the guardians of the treasures of the earth in like every system where Nagas exist, and dragons, you know, they're sleeping on gold. It's a common thing. And so I was like, give me your gold. And holy Christ, that was a big ask. And what they did was they took my life apart. Yeah. They took away everything so that I could find out what it was that I actually wanted. You know, Gordon in his sigils class is like, figure out what's under the ask, you know, like if you're asking for money, what are you really asking for? You're asking for freedom. You know, you're asking for the ability to do what you want. And so they got at that way faster than I would have. You know, it probably would have taken years to figure this out. But when you have everything taken away, everything except your family, you realize really quickly that what's actually important is a roof over your head, food on the table, a safe place to live, and the people you love. And that's what having my entire life dismantled over the course of a year figured out for me. And like, damn. if you looked at my life right now, you'd be like, this is not how anybody would want to live. But I work 2 days a week, and it's caretaking for my family. It's taking care of my parents. And so like my job is to hang out with my parents and to take care of them. I live in the same city as them, and the rest of my time, and that provides me with enough money to be able to spend all of my time with my family and to just do magic for people. And it's enough to where I can give away everything that I do. I don't ask for money for any of the magic that I do. You know, if you order oils from me, we're going to have an oil release soon. If you order oils, I would love it if you could cover shipping, you know, so that I'm not like out money. But like if you can't, that's fine. It all balances out. And that's the thing that I figured out is that when these spirits have got your back, they've fucking got you. Even when shit gets really weird and it looks disastrous, it's just I've always got everything that I actually need and enough to do the stuff that I want to do. And that's what's important to me. And that's what they did for me. They dismantled all of this stuff that had been installed in me growing up in America and this capitalist nonsense about like what it looks like to be successful.
Yeah.
And what it actually looks like to me is to have enough money to spend my time doing the things that I want to do, which for me is just hanging out with my kid and my wife and my parents and my brothers. And it's awesome. I fucking love it. And like, I'm so grateful to them. And, you know, they are the guardians of the treasures of the earth, and they can definitely come through with money and prosperity and sovereignty and all of those things. It's just, they need you as the person doing the magic to know why you actually want those things.
Mm. Damn.
Sorry, that was a fucking ramble.
No, that's great, dude. Like it's intense. Like I mean, I think most people have some kind of deconstruction and re assemblage going on when if they're doing it right. Like
Yeah.
you get dismantled and put back together in some way, or your life does. But but I find that to being especially profound that you kind of ask them for gold, uh, and to have enough money that your family was provided for. And like they literally gave you both of those things, just not like literal metal gold. And
Yes. And the thing is, I do own some gold now.
that's
And
amazing.
I definitely would not have before, but I do. I bought like this little like 5 gram bar of gold that had the year of the dragon stamp on it when it was the year of the
Oh,
dragon. And I got another one for the year of the snake. And like, thank
damn.
goodness that's fucking, it's appreciated a lot in the years since I bought it. You know, it's not enough for, you know, it's just a little bar of gold, but it's got a dragon on it. And I got another one that's got a snake, and it's just fucking, it's awesome. I didn't even think about that. I did get gold.
It's amazing. Um, yeah, man. Okay, that's really intense. I've only my only experience with the Nagas are with the ceremonies, the group rituals that I've joined up with that you've done, and then one ritual that I did, which was actually the same day as the last one that you did. Um, so I was like doing it before, like you would have been doing it, but it was the same like technical calendar day. And
Nice.
holy shit, like granted there was this whole period of time that felt like it was kind of like leading up to being introduced to them, but it's like it just felt really weirdly auspicious that like you and I have so many things in common. And then
We really
uh,
do.
it was like all I have to do, I was like, oh, I'll just ask Tyler like what, you know, like what's up? I feel like I'm supposed to talk to the Nagas. And then it was like, oh, I'll just sign up for, and I had the most amazing experience. Like what happened that first ritual when I signed up for being on, I think that was Nagpanchami, right? That was one of
Yeah.
them. And I ended up, it was like, and I almost felt like later when I posted a little bit about my experience online, I was like, later on, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that because I don't want anyone else to like expect that because they might not get that intense of an experience, like, but like I don't want to like raise expectation too high, but fuck, it was like that night when I was about to fall asleep, I had an out of body experience, like full on, but it wasn't out of body, it was in body.
Hmm.
And that was new for me. It was like I went in and down into my roots. That they were like tree roots, and I went down into those. But the wildest part to me was that it actually worked through the Luangpot amulets I was wearing. So it like
Nice.
came through the Tao that I have, his star amulet, and like yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild how, and it taught me a lot about how like that level of spirit consciousness and its sort of frequency and like how that like oh okay that matched this Tao because there's like all this earth and probably Luang blessed it with Naga's present. Like there's all this stuff that came from those experiences that's been like really interesting. But I the idea of conjuring like a bunch of not like named Nagas at once and being like, give me your gold, that's that takes balls, bro.
Dude, I had no, it doesn't, it just takes idiocy. I was such a fucking dum dum. Like, my God, the fact that they let me live through that is a miracle. But again,
Yeah.
exalted Rahu, exalted Ketu, like I've got a lot. Oh, and like, like I have culminating Thuban in my chart. It's like, there's everything about my chart says like, you're probably going to have some snakes. And then,
I'm not familiar with Thuban. Who is which is that's a
oh,
constellation?
it's a star in the tail of Draco,
Okay.
the great celestial dragon. And so like um by calling on the spirits of Thuban, you're calling on the spirits of like the most ancient stellar dragon,
Mm.
basically. And that, oh God, it like kneeling before the spirits that turned up when I was calling all of the, I mean, like it's, I was calling Adishesh. Adishesh is the serpent upon which the entirety of creation rests. Like Adi means before, or like completely outside of time. It's the thing that was here before the universe. It was the thing that was here before creation. It will be the thing that is here after creation, after Shiva does his Tandava dance and destroys everything. Still, Adi Shesh will be there. That's a fucking serpent that I call Vasuki Nag, who churned the ocean of milk with asuras on one end and devas on the other to like get up the amrit, the
Mm.
like the sacred nectar, and
Purple drink.
yeah, exactly. I and Thuban and like and Rahu and all of these ancient serpents, and then all the ones that just turned up unnamed, and holy fuck, like I am lucky, lucky and chosen. I mean, not chosen. Oh, that's such a shitty word to use. Um, they picked me. They turned up well before this started happening,
Mm-mm.
and then it turned out that like one of the spirits with whom I'm like very connected, who like helped facilitate another big transformation, is intimately tied into the Nagas, and it was like through his introduction
Mm.
that this was all made possible. But I didn't find that out until later.
Mm. That's interesting. Had never heard of Thuban before. Huh.
If
I'd
you
never
look
con
at like if you look at the like the old school astrology things about Thuban, the fixed star, it's like death and destruction.
Okay. It's kind of up there with like Algol as far as being like one you don't lightly fuck with.
Yeah, I just it was everything that I do is just like it's informed by the spirits that I'm working with, and I just sort of go by feel. You know, I
Yeah.
read the
Yeah.
Invocation of Thuban, and it's something was like, this is the thing. This is the thing you need. And then I added in all of these other mantras to like Adi Shesh and Vasuki Nag, and then like both Vedic and Thai, and yeah, then just buckled up as my life was torn apart.
What
But
was
quite
the
honestly, it was put together a lot better than it was before it got torn apart. So it's good.
Yeah.
what was the first thing that flew to pieces?
I think it was our living situation. We were living with a relative of Sarah's, and she promptly lost her mind. And like she invited us to live there after Ziggy was born. Because like we've always been aiming at like a multi-generational household. That's like a thing that we wanted to do. And she's like 70. And so we were like, this will work out great. We can help you around the house and do all the stuff. And so within a month or two of the ritual, she started getting really weird, and then got so weird that she threw us out with 5 days notice, with a 1-year-old child. Was just like, get out. That's it. And like, when I say unprovoked, I mean unfucking provoked. I was doing everything I could to keep the peace, because like having a roof over the head of my family is like that's like the main thing that I'm supposed to fucking do, right? Is it's just like, we need a place to live. I will keep the peace. I will smooth out whatever. And that didn't happen. And so she chucked us out. And that's what like we ended up living. We're living in a tiny house right now.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's not ideal, but it's we've always had a roof over our head, and a safe place to live. So, but yeah, that was the thing, right? We were living in this big, nice house, and I didn't realize quite how much I was like identifying that with like some level of success or something. Like maybe I had like some ego tied in with like being in this big house, and it's like they were like, that's a stupid thing to have ego in, let me show you why. And then they tore that all apart, and now we live in a tiny house and everything is better.
That's so funny, man. Like I wanted to live in a tiny house, and I ended up like living in a house that's too big for me. And like we get a deal on it because my wife's a priest, and like so we live in like the rectory property. Like we didn't choose this house, but it's fucking huge, and I'm cleaning constantly, constantly. And I'm just like, God, we need a bed and a place to pee and poop and shower.
Yeah.
And we need a place like a fire. That's about it. But
Yeah,
but we have heated floors instead of all that.
that's nice.
It is nice in Denmark, but like it's still just it's so funny because it's like I outright had this rejection of like I don't even want a nice life. Like I don't even want nice things. I want to live in a fucking cave in Kentucky, and that was my goal. And then like I met my wife, and it was like, nope, sorry, you gotta live in civilization. You gotta be the priest's husband in a small Danish village where everyone knows who you are, and you're basically famous here because there's no other like boy with long hair around. Like it's weird. But I don't know. I'm hoping we one day will get to like a log cabin that's very simple and yeah, far away from people and such. That to me is still the goal. Like I still want
No,
to
it's going to be a Gilded Age mansion. You're just going to end up in some place even bigger and
it's
fancier. And the whole time you're going to be like, God damn it! God, I'm
it's
supposed to be bohemian. How am I ever going to be bohemian this way?
it'll
Jeeves,
pro
find me a tiny house.
They'll
it,
have a tiny house inside the giant
Yes,
Gilded Age mansion.
exactly. Build me a tiny house in the conservatory.
Actually, that we could find we could you can find like actual castles in Europe for like really cheap because no one actually wants to live in them because
Yeah, I've heard that.
they're horribly cold. And you can't, they're damp and cold and you can't fix it. But honestly, you could build a tiny house inside a castle. That actually is a good idea. You just step outside and you're out your yard is a castle.
Love it.
That'd be all right. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Same.
Cool. Kurt,
Oh,
keep everyone entertained.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom too. Fuck everybody.
Yeah, everybody's peeing right now.
Okay. Is it even? No, no one else is back. Damn it. So I'm still gonna have to vamp or not. Ooh. Okay. I've got the question. There's no vamping. This was a vamp-free episode. I did not vamp. I may have said two things while you were away.
Vamping?
Vamping.
What's vamping? Like
I,
vampires?
no, no, no. Is that that's the term, right? It's like where you have to fill air.
Oh, I didn't know that was a term.
I
I'm
didn't
pretty
know that
sure
was a
that's.
term either.
I'm pretty sure that's the term.
I
When
believe
you
you.
uh,
Yeah, I
well,
feel
see
like
now I don't believe me, so now I got to make sure.
you're more likely to know that than I am, though, like for sure. So I would just assume it's correct.
Okay, that's complete made up nonsense. That is not the. Um. Well, so there is the technical definition is a to attach a new upper to a boot or shoe, or two, repeat a short, simple passage of music. So I've heard it in terms of radio where you vamp to fill air while someone is doing something.
Well, that makes
Um,
sense if it's like repeating a small piece of music, then it's
yeah,
probably like you slang using that to say just summarize like for the next 30 seconds like
seconds.
everything we already
Yeah,
talked about and then
Yeah.
yeah, that it tracks. Okay, so I am curious, Tyler, what is your feeling about Kundalini?
Um, what is my feeling about Kundalini? It's definitely a thing. And I think okay, so let's see. What is my direct experience with it? I did some Kundalini yoga one time. And it's like a one-time thing because it was a disaster. But it really it woke something up very aggressively. And instead of finishing the asana, the finishing the set, or whatever, I got really anxious as I felt this energy like rise up from my Muladhara chakra up into my chest, where it just lit up and provoked some of the most intense anxiety that I've ever had. And
Mhm.
so I stopped and just walked around and like tried to move it, but you need to finish the fucking movements, like, because basically the thing is designed to like the set was designed to like wake it up and get it moving and then move all the way up and like out the top of your crown, right? But it got jammed up um in my chest, and I spent like 6 hours just in full panic attack mode as this like energy that I had woke up, this like fire serpent, was just stuck in my chest cavity with nowhere to go. Since then, I don't work with it directly, like I don't do Kundalini yoga or anything, but I can feel it when it wakes up. And I think when you work with Nagas, it's just a thing that sort of activates.
Yeah,
Um,
which well, that's why I asked it because I like specifically. I know that there is a relationship between it, but especially since it's thought of as a serpent in the body that rises up. Um, uh, but it's also one of those terms that I feel is abused in the
yes,
West, and
I think
I think
so.
a lot of people attach things to that word that is not that's not really what's going on. Um, and that's a it's a very I've heard different. There's some people that are like, uh, that's very it's extremely rare, and when it does happen, either it fully happens or it kills you. like
Yeah,
like
That's
it's
what
that
Vimalananda said.
yeah that it's that intense. Whereas
it's like I've definitely heard of people who've like woke it up and then just go nuts. Because
um,
it has to be an open and free flowing channel. And the thing is once you start to wake it up, it finds the places where you're stuck and it fucking what it does. And you know, that looks like madness
Yeah.
for a
mhm.
lot of people. Um, and it feels like it too. I mean, to have I've never had a panic attack like that. It was terrible. And I've been very respectful of that ever since. Like it's not anything to fuck with for sure. And you know, if it gets stuck in your head, then you're just oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like
What
if that's the place it gets stuck, I can't imagine. Like you'd probably just look schizophrenic.
yeah. My brain tried to conjure like an analogs like so that I could understand like what you went through in that experience. And what it conjured for like the closest thing apparently in my own personal experience that it brought up for me was one time when I was trying to quit opiates and I was supposed to wait like 3 days into withdrawals before I took the opiate blocker, but
Oh yeah.
I took him took it less than 24 hours later, and it was not Suboxone, it was before all that. So it was like the absolute worst. Like it just tore all of the opiates out of my body like by force.
Yeah.
And that's what my it was like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's I have also done that and it is a fucking
Okay.
nightmare. It is a shit show. And that is it's not far off. It was, you know, I'd been clean for quite a while by the time I did that. That was like what? That was like 5 years ago maybe that I did that thing. And so it was different, but it's definitely that could be a decent analog. Because yeah, that's a nightmare, man.
Vimalananda in the Kundalini book, Agora 2 by Robert Svoboda, he says the when the Kundalini rises, it's like you have to actually like will it back down at the same at the same time or something like that because otherwise you die. Like
Interesting.
it's
Yeah,
like
I
this
could see
like
that. Like,
it has to be balanced by it essentially amounts to like it shoots up, I think, and you have to like remind it to circulate, I guess.
yeah, yeah, because it just like it's pure Shakti, right? It wants to move. It's pure fucking like witch fire is probably a decent
Yeah.
uh
I have been informed in the past that that is a good analog, as well as uh what's his name? The famous like witchcraft author, Chumbly. He talks about the quintessence a lot. And the
Mm,
quintessence is like a very similar thing to the Shakti from what I've gathered.
yeah, it is not to be. It's nothing to fuck around with, really. And that's that's so in so I do a lot of work with Baitov in my Vedic practices, because it was recommended to me by a Vedic astrologer who was like, yeah, you have Rahu in the first house, and so you need somebody who can chop heads because Rahu is that just like the head without a body that just wants to consume and consume and consume, and potential like ego overinflation and stuff like that. And so you want a deity in your spirit court who can check that. So like Kali or Bhairav, and like Kali is
Item.
pure Shakti. And so that might, that probably works for some people, but Bhairav is really grounded. And I mean, if you look at uh at statues of Adi Shakti, Mahakali, she is standing on Bhairav. And so he provides this platform upon which Shakti can rise. And he gives all of his Shakti to Kali, and that's how that works. And so having that foundation of Bhairav, who is this very, very powerful, fearsome form of Shiva, um, is tremendously helpful in working with Nagas. Plus, I mean, you look at any depiction of Shiva, and you've got, he's wearing Vasuki Nag around his neck. He's bedecked in serpents. And so he's a really good counterbalance to what can potentially just be like raw, destructive, pure creation.
Got that Draco drip.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well,
But
that's interesting. So is it, do you know if there's different allies depending on where Rahu is in your chart?
I don't know. I
Hmm.
only know what this guy told me. Oh, by the way, Mike's sleeping dog, I will absolutely shout him out anytime. Is the best and coolest fucking Vedic astrologer out there, hands down. If you want a reading, like he does stuff by donation. He does these like intensives where it's like 20 hours and you get to learn all of the basics of Vedic astrology to the point where you can start doing readings for people on like a donation basis. And it costs about the same as a good Vedic astrology reading to get 20 hours of like studying your chart and a couple other people's. It was a life changing experience, and he's seriously the coolest fucking dude. Like he wanders the earth like kung fu, fucking smoking weed and teaching Vedic astrology for donations.
that sounds like something I would like to support.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, that's actually really tempting. Like, because I don't ever want to do chart readings for people, I don't think, but I do want to do um moments in time and elections and stuff for my own shit. Um, yeah, I've been feeling that pull. That's a great recommendation. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, he is the absolute coolest, and like it's a really conversational thing. Like he is a very cool dude. We finished the intensive. It was just me and one other lady who were in it, so we got a lot of time on each of our charts. Sometimes he's got like 10 people in there, or whatever. Um, we finished it by like having a sing along, doing like Vedic stotras while he played his guitar over Zoom. It was
That's
fucking
great.
rad.
Yeah, I think I really dig your vibes, the casual, like just being real all the time, and I'm kind of over everything else. Like I I don't really like, but like yeah, dude sounds cool and chill, and that's like the kind of people I want to interact with these days. Um,
Same.
I I had a thought a minute ago that I thought like so just to join you on the controversial train, so you're not the only one getting railed for what you said in this show. Um, I think the Shakti, and you know, some people might agree, but I think the whole Kali and um, Bhairav or Shiva like connection and that relationship, I have found. I believe I will say, how do I word this properly? I'm pretty sure I believe that the Queen of Elfhame and King of Elfhame, like I think that there's an analog for us there in that way if it's approached not the same, but like with a more cosmic sort of mindset. I think there's something there. I'll say that.
Ooh, I know next to nothing about those two beings.
I don't even know if it's two, right? Like, but uh it might be
That's the thing.
yeah.
That's the same with Mahakal and Mahakali. Like eventually you get up so high where they are one and the same.
Right. And here's the thing where I find it difficult to converse with Western practitioners sometimes. I don't differentiate like the rules aren't different to me in the West. Like we don't have a separate spirit world than they do in the East. And I think that
Yeah,
like their unbroken lineages for generation upon generation, uh I tend to look there for bigger picture kind of sense making. And
same.
I think I find it I don't know what the right is. Well, I'm just gonna say annoying. When when people aren't open to just looking at what we already have in the West and going, maybe we don't have the whole story anymore. Because
Right?
it's entirely fucking reasonable that we've lost some of the most important aspects of this stuff. Um,
Yes. I and
and
that goes for astrology, that goes for magic, that goes like everything. I mean, they have the like you said, this unbroken lineage. They never took the magic out of astrology because no one was ever murdered for fucking having magical like in Vedic astrology, it's built in that there are these things that look innately magical as remedies for certain placements or stretches of time, and it's totally possible that we used to have that in the West um, as canon, but not allowed to, because of the dark ages and everything else that's happened where it was just like no magic, and if you predict anything about a royal you're going to get murdered.
yeah, yeah, and this also comes into play with astrology, right? Because in the West we have a lot of people who are into astrology, but not a lot of animists that are into astrology.
Right.
So so what we essentially get is like a capitalist mechanistic view of the heavens, um, which cool. Ah, you know, and I know that there are a lot of people out there who they'll only buy a talisman if they can see the election, if they can like analyze it themselves and know like, oh, this is okay, this is good because they can prove it to me by showing me the data. And it's like
Yeah.
that might be an indicator of that talisman being good. But there's that whole like what can you do and what can you do that people will actually believe you can do and trying to kind of manage that whole thing. Like I know that people are more likely to buy a perfect election amulet from someone or a talisman from someone than they are to like buy one of mine because if it's done differently, you know, um,
Yeah.
simply for the fact that they don't have in their mind that it's a completely valid thing to bless something on multiple occasions to get a more rounded sort of effect rather than just one
Okay,
moment.
thank you.
Yeah. It drives me crazy because it's like, uh, I mean, I guess people buy amulets from me and they're like, this is great, thank you, and I'm like, cool. But it is frustrating when it's like, when you're trying to be creative and innovative and like make something that's that's just as much art as it is functional magic.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, just like, do I have to give you a sample to get you like um but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's just it limits creativity is I guess the point. Sorry.
yeah, no, totally. Like, I mean, like, okay, so we're having our first like official oil release for Cormorant Cunning Craft coming up here
Yes.
pretty quick, and I've got two oils that are, fixed star oils. I've got a Deneb Algeti oil and I've got an Aldebaran oil. These have been blessed and worked for years at this point. I mean,
Mhm.
and on multiple occasions, when Jupiter first hit Aldebaran was when I started, which happened to be on my birthday, which is like also the heliacal rise of Aldebaran. That's when it started. And then it's been worked ever since then. And
Mhm.
it's going to continue being worked. Like the thing is, I'm going to pull some vials of oil and then I'm going to re-bless what's left in that jar and fill it up and add whatever the spirits that I work with tell me to add. And it's like, just because the election, the first election might not have been perfect. I'm pretty, it was is a waning moon because it was a fucking is the heliacal rise, right? Um, just because it's not a perfect election doesn't mean it doesn't work. And the fact that it's been blessed multiple times and all just spirit led, like when I see that, that's what I'm aiming at because these people, okay, all right. Should I check myself here? No, fuck it. We're in it already. Fuck it. Um, I appreciate all the work that goes into these single election talismans. And I appreciate all the work that goes into these single election oils and everything about that. The bottom line for me is, regardless of how perfect the election is, if the spirit contact is not there, it doesn't mean a fucking thing to me.
Right.
Because we all lived through that election, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so fucking we all experienced that. And not everybody experienced that as like a red letter day, and that might have something to do with their chart. It might have something to do with the fact that they're not like hooked into the spirits of this particular election, whatever. I would so much rather have a piece made by somebody who is locked in with the spirits who are assisting them in making these things. And especially when the spirits themselves are driving the work. And
Mhm.
that's what we do at Cormorant Cunning Crafts. That is a shameless plug, but uh, it's
No,
true.
perfect. It
Like
was perfect.
we just like, I don't, you know, like if I find an election, it's because the spirits I work with have led me to that election. And, I have notes and notes and notes of elections that are coming up and I find them and sometimes I'm meant to work them and sometimes it's just like,
Mm.
no, you're not supposed to do anything with that. Okay, fine. Um, I want that spirit contact and I want the spirits because they're the ones in charge. Like just because you made something at this time doesn't necessarily mean that it is an inspirited thing, just
Right.
because you cast a little metal disc when all of these planets were in alignment, it doesn't necessarily make it magic.
Well, and here's another thing that it's like the common understanding of like what's even possible with amulets just it isn't as much there. Common understanding in our culture. So
Yeah.
you might have two astrological talismans, single election talismans, same election, two different makers. One of them might be a an efficient battery. So you might be able to use that to power other workings or yeah, pull on it for specific work, that kind of thing. But maybe it doesn't actually have like the consciousness of the being that was part of it in there. And then
Yeah.
the other one might have an intelligence that is shockingly like present.
Yeah.
And um yeah, I haven't had many Astro talismans, so I can't like compare. I have one like that, and it's from Matt Dragonstone, and it's absolutely incredible. But the thing there is, I know because we're buddies that he he does listen to the spirits. He does his electional astrology in line with divination and intuition and synchronous. Like he uses the whole everything, and he's like very much an artist about it in that sense. So
And that's what it's about, man.
yeah. Yeah, and it's like it's okay if you want to do single election talismans, but do it like that. Like be involved, be fully in it.
Yeah, like I love the way they do it in the Thai system. You know, they bless stuff for 3 months at a time, sometimes years of
Yeah.
sitting on an altar and like that's what these oils are. These oils have been on like the Aldebaran oil is the oil that holds up the eastern quadrant of my altar. Like
Yeah.
it's there for everything. I mean, and that makes sense because Aldebaran is like my rising star. It's on my ascendant. And I was born at the fucking heliacal rise of Aldebaran. Of course,
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
I'm gonna be Aldebaran's fucking, hero in this. Avatar, whatever. I'm gonna rep for Aldebaran. I always will. When I use that oil, even as somebody with that placement, when I use that oil, it lights me the fuck up. One little dab, and I mean, I've never taken pre-workout, but I imagine that's what it's like. It lights that fire, like it activates that witch fire. It is an oil full of flaming fucking serpents crowned with golden horns. It is wild.
Hmm.
I really want to try these oils.
Uh,
I'll get
I
them to
have
you.
I have two things. One, I actually wouldn't be shocked if it may not be listed, but some of the better known makers of these like astrological oils and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they use prior elections, break up that oil, and then use that as a base for next elections. I would not be shocked if that
I
only
would if I
makes
were them.
well, I don't know. It seems to me like that's the obvious, like why would you not build on magic that's already there? But that's just my view on it. Um so I yeah, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't ever mix one into the next. Maybe they never do that, but it
Yeah, I
seemed to
can't.
me
I can't speak for
That's
them.
that's like
yeah,
standard practice for Jarns, though.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You make a thing and it works and it's good, and then at the end of whatever it is, when you've like sold it all off, you take the dregs and you fucking add that into whatever's next. I mean, that just
Yeah.
we have an oil of a crossroads oil that was like one of the first oils that we made like 5 years ago. That was completely just like this crossroads spirit down the house from us, like used eagles, actual fucking eagles in suburban Seattle to lead us to this crossroads.
Huh.
It was an insane event. We did this Jupiter work. We went outside and I heard and felt this like whoosh over my head. And I look up and lower than the power lines were three full grown bald eagles that just whooshed right over my head. And
Merca.
Sarah and I were on a walk. Exactly. America. They flew to this giant Doug fir tree that was like the tallest tree in the neighborhood and just squawked their weird like eagle screeches until we arrived. And then we watched them and they called out the whole neighborhood. I mean, like everybody could hear these things. And we all just stood around going, holy shit, there's three eagles in that tree.
Huh.
And that's how we found the crossroads that the crossroads spirit was using the eagles to lead us to. And we made a big gallon jar of crossroads oil with that. We like buried it at that crossroads and like hid it and let it cook for a lunar cycle and then kept doing stuff and then we sold all of it. We used and sold all of it and we kept the dregs. And everywhere we have lived, we have worked whatever crossroads we're led to by that spirit to make more of that oil and add it to those dregs. And like we
Mhm.
were just doing something with that today. Um,
Yes. I fucking love that shit. Like I love there's something about maybe it's only certain types of people that are excited by old gnarled shit. And like, but like, I'm one of those people. Like, I love anything that's got like age and history, and it's just like you can feel the years or the experience and everything that happened on it. Like, there's a term in Danish, historiens vingesus, and it's like feeling. It means feeling the wings of history, and like
Dope.
anything that triggers that is like there's a certain like pry wax from a Prajarn O that is like on the amulet listings. It's like basically the dregs from every Sanea wax he'd ever made.
Wow.
That he just like kept the empty, almost empty bottles and then finally made like one crazy thing with it. And it's some of his most expensive shit. Um, I just love that. I love
Yeah.
and like you know, even things like just you have like if they have different pry oils, it's like a Western practitioner might hesitate to mix two different ghosts, but it's kind of like, do they get along? Like, well, then they're
Yeah,
okay.
just ask.
Yeah, like just ask.
Um, so I'm really curious about your vortex oil that you were of the because you have a post with
Is that the
four.
one that makes
Yeah.
shit weirder?
Yes. It
Because I
really
want
Yeah.
does.
Denmark
Uh,
has a normal problem because I kind of want to get some of that and just put it places.
It you definitely should. So we in Seattle, that house that we lived in was 115 years old. It was a one bedroom house with like an ancient iron clawfoot tub. It was
Ooh.
the weirdest for a one bedroom house. It was the most labyrinthine thing I've ever been to. Like it made no sense that you could get from one side of the house to the other 6 different ways. And I was like, what in the fuck? Like you look at this house, somebody had built a closet onto the house, but not in it, like actually out from the house where it like juts out into the backyard, and it's just a closet, and it was completely not insulated. I mean, it got torn down. That's why we left. Is because the owners finally were like, yeah, we should sell this to a developer, which sucked because like we loved it. But like the spirits of that house, I mean, like living there was a fucking initiation. It was a vortex. It was, you see those like, oh, the Oregon Mystery House and shit like that. This was absolutely a mystery house. The spirits that I met there were wild, and that was like our big sort of initiation into actually making magical things, where we were taught by the spirits that we met there. And yeah, it's been worked with a bunch of Pleiades materia and on Pleiades elections to just make it fucking weirder. And so the house itself was covered in ivy. At this point, the ivy was like structurally integral to the existence of the house. It
That's
provided
load
more.
bearing ivy.
Seriously, it provided more insulation than the insulation in the house. And no one could find it. This house was invisible to anybody that we did not invite. Only people that were invited could ever find this house. The census dude, I watched the census guy fucking walk by this house so many times, and there was a car out front. It looked like somebody was living there. And no, nobody could find it. Delivery drivers, absolutely not. Like we had to talk to the house and be like, okay, we're going to have an Amazon delivery. Like there's somebody coming to drop something off. Can you please
Flag him
remove
down.
the veiling cloak and let them drop off this package for us? It was wild. And so like, it's an incredible oil for invisibility, but like, if you want spirit contact, if you want, an increase in high strangeness, there's no better oil than this. And like it's just moved with us everywhere, and it's always it's like we've just got it inside our tiny house. And that's like we have a little Ganesha statue on top of it right now. And it is, I mean, it was made like we stripped that house because we knew they were going to tear it down. And I was like, well, fuck, man, we're going to get everything we can out of this. There was like a built-in cupboard that was papered with bus tickets from like 50 to 100 years ago.
Holy
Um,
Wow.
shit.
it was wild. And so like we took some of those and we took wallpaper and we took these beautiful art deco copper doorknob plates, and we put those in there and dirt from around the house, and it really does make things weirder. And like if you burn an oil lamp with just a couple drops of that in there whenever you're doing magic, or just dress a candle in that, things get weird quick. I mean, like I'd never had to do an exorcism before going to that house, and I kind of regret trying because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, luckily, Saint Cyprian sort of stepped in, but the thing that I was wrestling with was just laughing at me. And it was fucking, and I'm pretty sure it was just part of the house. And it was like, yeah, you're gonna find out that you can. Yeah, there's big shit floating around out there. You know, shark's gonna shark, and you just bumped into one.
Like you
Maybe
can't exercise the walls, motherfucker.
seriously, it was it's wild. It's a beautiful weird oil. And when we were trying to, I was just divine on like what I should do for the business, or for Cormorant Cunning Craft. It's not really a business, it's it's a charity, I guess. It's all donation based. But I was like, yeah, what oils? Because we have so many. I mean, fuck, this is the first. We have so many other available options, and we have a gallon of all of them. Our storage unit is mostly full of those. And so I was like, okay, definitely Aldebaran. Got to get Aldebaran in there first. That just made sense. And then the next one was like the vortex oil. You got to get that out there. And I was like, okay, cool. And then the next one that came up was, fuck, what was which ones are shit? Which ones are okay? There's the Deneb Algeti, there's the Aldebaran, there's the vortex. What's the fourth one? Fuck, I should really know that. Anyway, whatever one that wasn't Deneb Algeti after those first two, that one snuck in there. And then the final one that came up was a surprise to me. I didn't think it was going to be the Deneb Algeti, but then it balances the Aldebaran so well. Aldebaran is this really like brash, fiery.
SRVM.
Yes, that's another one. That's the totally experimental oil.
Which one is it? What is it called?
It's Saturn, Rahu, Venus, Mercury. Thank you, SRVM. Serve them. That one was built on an election that might only be good for me. We're gonna find out. All of the testing that I've done with it has been spectacularly effective. It is a really weird oil because it was built around a cursed conjunction, right? Like Saturn and Rahu together, not what most people are looking for. But, and I think I've said this, I think the relationship that the person building the materia has to the spirits involved goes a long way to easing some of the shite that could be inherent in using malefics in an oil, right? So I have an exalted Rahu, I have an exalted Saturn. My relationship with them is strong, and they work with me in a way that they don't work with many other people. And I think I've built into the oil that they treat other people that way too, but it is truly it is an experiment. The fact that there's the exalted Venus in there, I find balances that out very nicely, because basically you've got Rahu, who is pure Vat, right? Pure Vata. And then you've got Saturn, who is pure Vata in exactly the opposite direction. Vata is like air ether in the Ayurvedic cosmovision, right? And so Rahu is really like manic would be a good word for Rahu. Saturn is Vat in the exact opposite direction. It's like Albus in geomancy, right? It's that very grounded air. It's that
Yoda.
cold, dry. Yeah. Um, and then you have the exalted Venus in there in Pisces. And then there's also, just to make things even fucking weirder, a bunch of second pentacles of Mercury that are made out of an amalgam that I melted together myself of lead and tin, and then carved on the election. And the second pentacle of Mercury is for making the impossible possible. And so that's what that oil is for. It is for, like, so Saturn and Rahu, in Vedic astrology, are friendly with one another, even though they are so different. They actually get along pretty well. And it doesn't make a lot of sense until you get that Vata connection, right? They are both of this, like, this air ether constitution. And so Rahu skirts and flaunts any and all boundaries, traditions, whatever. He will get the thing he wants done at any cost, no matter what. He is a habitual line stepper. Saturn, on the other hand, is a habitual line drawer, right? And so you have this ability to push boundaries and sort of redraw the map with those two working together, with Venus sort of smoothing it out. And Venus is also cool with both of them. You know, Venus is cool with just about everybody, but, you know, Saturn's exaltation is in Libra, and Rahu and Venus, and Rahu's exaltation is in Taurus, which is a Venus sign. So it's that there's an interesting chemistry that has occurred during that thing, and I love it. I fucking love it.
I'm completely following the logic of this is the thing. Like, it's different because when you're an animist, you're not enchanting an item. You're in a room with other beings having a conversation.
Exactly. You're balancing influences and energies. And when they all sort of naturally get along, it's pretty easy to do. Also, it doesn't hurt that, you know, like, my own chart has an exalted two of those. So
that's
I
like
can
a
be a
friendlier
good,
position. You have like an in with them in a way. Like there's
yeah.
more forgiveness and buffer.
Yes, they're allowing me to mediate in
Mhm.
ways that maybe not everybody could. And like I said, I built some safeguards in. I made sure that if it was going to be a thing, like, that it wouldn't just explode everybody's life. I can't remember exactly when I made that. Oh, it was right before Akashya Tritiya. So the sun was also in its exaltation during that, although the sun has nothing to do with this oil. And it was actually worked on. So Akashya Tritiya is sun in exaltation, moon in exaltation in Vedic astrology. So sun in Aries, moon in Taurus. And so during the, like, 5 days, 6 days that I worked this oil, that election occurred, the Akashya Tritiya, and I made another oil specifically separate from that, for that thing, because that was, yeah, it was like sun in exaltation, moon in exaltation, and Venus was in its exaltation. So you have some big beneficence there, and that's sort of the counterbalance to the SRVM, whereas the SRVM is like this cursed combo that can, like, rewrite reality, and flaunt the rules of of reality. The Akashya Tritiya oil is like is that sort of I guess it's just the benefic balance to all that maleficence.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Man, that actually sounds awesome.
I want to work that Akashya Tritiya oil one more year, so I'm going to wait to release that until Akashya Tritiya this year.
Mhm.
But then the people that buy the servum, or the people that get the servum, can see what it's like to have a very different experience. That's also Matangi Jayanti. Matangi is one of the Dasha Mahavidyas, the 10 wisdom goddesses and forms of Kali. And she's green, and she's like, she accepts anything tainted, leftover offerings, all this stuff. She's an amazing
Hmm.
Devi. And so she's the one who's very much in charge of that Akashya Tritiya oil.
What was her name again?
Matangi.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I had her out at the compost pile at one point.
nice.
Like when I was like a newbie, I was just like, "Oh, hey, I have this image of her and where would she be happy?" Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's perfect. Like, and she's amazing. That's like the version of Davy that I work the most because again, she's like the Davy for outcasts. She accepts
Mm.
anybody. There's no qualifications. You don't need to follow certain dietary restrictions or lifestyles to work with Matungi. She accepts everybody, which is why I'm such a fan. That's why I like Bite of too. It's like he takes everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, the servum oil, that'll be fun. I'm excited for to get some feedback from other people on that one because it's electric. It is like I mean like I think I said in the write up, it is lightning in a bottle and it comes with a warning label. Like it try a little, wait a week, see what happens.
Well, it sounds like it would be a super manifestation oil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like yeah, like yeah, try manifesting something very like small and safe first.
Yeah, but
And
small and safe and
Nah.
weird. Something that like wouldn't like totally I mean, because like people use that, like I think Sfinga from with Cunning and Command, she uses those second pentacles of Mercury for finding like out of print books and things
mm,
like that, you know, lion skin belts and stuff for like super cheap, um, and so it is good for like manifesting that kind of thing that's like well outside the realm of possibility where the
mm,
probability is super low. And then to bolster that, you have this like, you know, Saturn, the lord of boundaries and karma and all of that stuff, plus Rahu, who can just do whatever he wants whenever he wants, all sort of working together with Venus smoothing it out a little bit. So it's a fun one, but yeah, it's electric. Boop, 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 boop.
see, yeah, I there are times where I feel like being a relatively like silly person and liking to laugh at things that are horrible to cope with them and such doesn't necessarily fit in with the overall culture uh very well. Like I feel like there's a lot of like I don't know, trying to be really well spoken and serious
Yes. And it's
and
honestly, it's like one of my goals is to be exactly the opposite of that. Like I want to be the laughing magician. I want to be John Constantine. Like
See,
uh
I
to just
seeing you out there like doing that gives
you
me
don't need to take it so seriously.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
this
exactly.
is supposed we're magicians. This is supposed to be fun.
And that's why I think this conversation is really important and I hope a lot of people listen to it because it's like I think people like you and me, it would be easy to look at like, or like at least listen. I think if they read our Substack, they won't think we're, you know, stupid or anything. But like, you might hear like one episode of this show and be like, these fucking goofballs, like, why would I trust anything that they make? Because they don't sound like they take everything very seriously. And, you know, they're not wearing their cloak and whatnot. But it's like,
Yeah, right?
but I think that's why, like, hearing your logic and how this, like, the story behind it and the texture to, like, hearing it's not just like an astrological election, it's actually like these are spells, these are relationships, these are spirits, and it's a different kind of thing. It's not to be compared to your one-off, uh, single election kind of amulets. And just because someone is lighthearted doesn't mean they don't know their shit and have have their ducks in a row. Like yeah, I think
Well,
that's
my
important.
ducks in a row are it's a highly dubious proposition, but I know the
Well,
spirits that I work with well enough to know that like this is I also trust them. That was the wild card. I couldn't believe that they were like, yeah, get the SRVM out there first go. And I was like, God damn, Vortex and SRVM? We're gonna weird it up like that straight off the bat, huh?
what if
And this
maybe maybe it's your ducks have you in a row.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Because I
way
think
better.
it's more like that for me too. Uh, there's a big sense of like I just work here, and
Yeah.
even with progressing in skill and ability, it's like I know immediately when I hit a wall that it's like, oh, okay, well, what healing or what do I have to heal before I can get there? Like,
Yes.
and I'm not gonna push. I understand that I'm held and that like I'm just following cues. That's like all there really is to do. Like granted there's that like inner true desire compass to follow to even know what to even try to do, right?
Yeah.
But after that it's like once the path is kind of the trajectory set or the goal is set, then it's just listening. It's just following cues and being getting out of the fucking way. Really.
Yes.
It's a lot of getting out of the way. It's
Yeah.
And I think the thing that makes that so difficult is that for some people, like is that if you've never felt how held you can be, it's like it's really hard to let go of the constant impulse to control your own fate in ways that, may or may not end up being what's best for you. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
it's
I
you can't
I
like imagine it unless you've experienced it first, I
yes.
guess.
I count myself fucking blessed to have figured this out really early in life. I read a really beginner book on the Tao, and it basically was like, just don't fucking struggle, man. If like you don't want to swim upstream, you want to go with the stream. And if you have something you're aiming at, go with the fucking flow. And then I read all this stuff about the lunar mansion, tropical lunar mansion that my moon is in. It says straight up, it's like it's the actual quote from one of those old ass books is just like, this person will have very little control over their own destiny and will be buffeted around on the winds of fate. And it's true. I don't like, I know where I'm supposed to go because that's where they fucking point me, and I don't really bother with anything else. And like, fuck, when I found magic and stuff, I was like, oh my God, all of the weird, stupid ADHD shit that I am into perfectly comes together under the banner of Cunning Man. Like, it's just, I like, I fucking, I love making music. I love singing. I love reading. I love researching, but only about things that interest me. I'm terrible at just about anything else. I love working with my hands. I love interacting with spirits and people. And all of these things just perfectly blended together where I was like, holy fuck. Thank God I'm open to this bizarre realization that like Cunning Man is the thing I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. Relatable content. Relatable content for sure.
Oh fuck.
I just started like after 7 years of not playing music, and that was all I did for all of my 20s and some of my 30s, and then 7 years without, and then it just came back into my life recently. It was like, boom, you're fucking playing music again. I'm like, okay. Um, but I think it wants to be like integrated with the spirit work somehow, and I haven't figured that part out yet, but it's really fun.
See,
Um,
I got super lucky fucking with this with the so like I the mediumship tradition in which I am initiated is like Umbandaimi, like it's Umbanda but also
uh,
Daimi, and with like a heavy dose of Brazilian like shamanism in there. Like these people were
nice.
not proper Daimi people, but they were at one point. Um and so I got to I got in touch with my mediumship abilities through music and drumming and singing these songs and feeling that energy. I mean, like when you drink ayahuasca and you drum and sing, shit just fucking comes through you and it gets
Yeah.
wild. And when you have good people there leading the ceremony and like moving that energy and calling the spirits in and everything, it's just beautiful. And so I love singing to spirits. I adore it. I love playing drums until shit gets so weird that I've got to move around and fucking make weird noises and stuff. Like it's just,
Hmm.
it's a beautiful thing. So I hope you find that because it's really, it's tremendous. And the spirits love it. What a beautiful offering. What a purely and solely human offering to be able to like offer a song, a spontaneous song or some drumming or dance or something like that to a spirit, you know, a disembodied spirit or one that you allow into you and help like let move you into this thing. It's incredible.
Yeah, I wrote a song for my matron spirit, and then I have a like a very short like one like not even a whole verse, really just like a short verse. And then the same thing like a short little cantrip, but it's a song for Regulus.
Nice.
And that's what I use as the kata for the Regulus amulets I made.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Actually, I need to just record those and just make that might be the ticket is like make an album of praise songs or essentially like benefic spells
Yeah.
and release that like to the world. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had the upper like okay, so what you're talking about the like getting into it and getting into that groove. Uh I hope I find that too because there is like this overwhelming sense of normalcy where we live. Uh like everything is very normal in this small Danish village on the mainland. So um I'm the weirdest thing for miles, I think.
Time to
But
get weirder.
yeah. I would love to find like a group of people drumming and dancing around and making weird noises because I mean that's I'm you know I come from Florida like I grew up with all that kinds of stuff just the craziest weirdest people you could imagine uh yeah
It's similar out here in the Pacific Northwest.
yeah I've never spent any time in that area but it every time I see pictures I'm like holy shit can that be real
It's beautiful. Like
yeah
I couldn't wait to leave when I turned 18 because it used to rain more here and I had like pretty heavy seasonal depression. And
yeah
so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go the sunniest place in state that I can. And then I did. And you know, I this place has a really intense gravity. And the fact that it also is home to the world's like largest being, living thing, that giant mycelial
oh yeah
thing is here in Washington, or it's in Washington. Is yeah, it's the mushrooms are in charge here. That's very clear.
That yeah that exact fungus is in a story that like a story plot that I never finished writing. Like where someone has to jack into it and ask it questions about stuff.
Yeah,
I love the idea of like I don't think there I've yet to find other than Ursula K. Le Guin I've yet to find a lot of like good animist fiction. I haven't looked that hard either, to be fair. I don't read enough novels, but I would love to find shit that's like talking more about like borderline sci-fi, but it's like they're just using consciousness to speak with beings that are out there, you know?
yeah.
Sci-fi vibes though. I'm rambling at this point. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Uh, Washington and Oregon are both really interesting, odd places. I remember, well, Seattle itself has a very odd history, like where it was like a multi-level city that used to like it, like nothing was on the ground floor, and it was like a maze going up and down. and half and like it's been like buried, like paved over and like raised up, whereas used to like there was like ladders everywhere and people would get drunk and fall like to their deaths very easily. Um,
Yeah, and then they used to get kidnapped and shanghaied and stuff. Like
yeah, it's a
literally shanghaied.
it's a really strange place. Um,
Yeah.
and then I remember driving through Portland was uh, I felt the like it just wanted me to live there. And it was almost like a siren's call. It was just like uh, my ex-wife and I, when we drove through there, it's just there was, interestingly enough, when I was in the state, I drove up. Uh, there's a highway that runs from Seattle up to, what is it, Bellingham?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we, because we were thinking about like, could we move here? Could we live here? Um, and then we took a right, and then we went back south to go back to Seattle, and we visited this area which had the most negative feeling I'd ever felt any place ever. Um, it was we turned into this like neighborhood that was on a mountain, but it was so tree covered that it looked like night inside.
Wow.
Like that was how dense the tree cover was. And both my ex-wife and I, when we got out, we were like, why does anyone live here? Nothing about this place feels like it wants humans on it at all.
That's
It
the
was,
thing.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. There are some nasty fucking land spirits in Washington that do not want humans there at all. And they will fucking, it's like the ones in Thailand. They will pull you off the road if you are not paying attention. Like and like wreck your car. That yes, there are absolutely, like when we were doing the ayahuasca ceremonies and everything, it was while we were living in Seattle, and then we had to drive like an hour and a half to get there. And it was like uh it was out in the woods, like a beautiful cedar forest with full of huckleberries and shit. It was like a beautiful piece of land. But in between Seattle and that place, there was like 45 minutes of forested area that was just like, we don't fucking want you here at all. And we were doing monthly ayahuasca ceremonies, so like we're getting like more and more sensitive to that stuff. And there was one time I was driving out there, and I've never fallen asleep on the road ever, outside of once when I was really high on opiates. And that's understandable. I was not high on opiates this day. We're driving, and I just got so sleepy driving up this hill, right? And it hit me so suddenly. I mean, crazy fast, where I was awake, having a conversation with Sarah, and then all of a sudden I was waking up and jerking the wheel. And I was driving like 75 miles an hour, and I jerked the wheel, almost overturned the car going uphill, and then jerked it back into position. Sarah's looking at me like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, we cannot talk about that. Whatever that was, we do not talk about what just happened until we are far away from this place. I've never been grabbed like that while driving, and it was a big wake up call. And that thing followed us all the way to the boundary, of the piece of land where the ayahuasca ceremony was. And it was only when we got within the borders, which were like really heavily guarded and protected, like Eshu and all of these things, that it left us alone. But it was like a giant shadow was flying over the car. It was no, you're absolutely right. There's stuff in Washington that does not want people there at all.
I think years before that, even before I really dove deep into this and stuff and got more sensitive, I think there's something about there's spots in nature on the West Coast that are, the vibe is very different than what's here on the East Coast. I've lived most of my life on the East Coast and only have visited the West Coast. I think because this place has been inhabited for so long, there's just more of a like copacetic relationship or something. But I had an earlier experience where I forget, maybe it was in California. It was somewhere we stopped and I went, it was near a rest area, and there was a trail that went up into an aspen grove. And I probably got 50 feet into it, and it was the most alien feeling I think I've ever. It was a very much like, we don't give a fuck about humans. Why are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I had never felt anything like that ever from being in the woods. Like I had never been freaked out by the woods before. And this was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is not this is a place that is not for people. I don't know why
Yes.
there's a rest area here. That's stupid.
Yeah, it's, I
Yeah.
mean, growing up here, there's just, my dad spent most of his life in the Rogue Siskiyou National Forest, in a little logging town. That's where he grew up. So we would go down there all the time for camping in the summer. And there were just, you'd just be walking in the woods and you'd go, definitely don't go that way. And you just know, you'd feel it, and you'd feel it even, as a kid, my whole life. It's just been, you'd be like walking along and it's like time to turn around right fucking now. Like
Yeah.
we just
Mhm.
need to go. And Sarah is like she's so into that power and that, like, she's drawn to it. It's like a moth to a flame, where she's like, no, 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 we should keep going. I'm like, trust me, we need to leave now. We have stumbled into something that does not want us here. There is likely a collection of spirits up there having some sort of meeting, and now they're discussing how they're going to murder us. We need to leave. She's like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, 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 no. We're leaving now. That happened to us in Seattle. Like, right, we're in our little suburban area. There's this like gully, that was a couple blocks away from our Seattle house, and we'd been down there a couple times and it was fine. And then one day there were just all these crows on a power line right before you go down into the gully, and they were just screeching and cawing nonstop. And I'm like, we gotta go. Like, we have to leave. And she's like, no, 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 no. We should go down there. And I'm like, this is a terrible idea. And so we got like 3 steps down and she goes, we need to leave. I'm like, yes, yes, we do. And we did. And something followed us. And it was like a sunny day, but all of a sudden it just got cold, and just felt darker. And we got to this crossroads, and I did this really, it was the first time I'd ever asked the wind to do something for me on the fly. And I just called up the wind. Always had a very loving and strong relationship with spirits of wind and the winds themselves. And there's a big Naga connection there that I didn't put together until much later. But like, big winds usually means dragon wings, like Nagas are about. But so I got to this crossroads and I just called up the wind and I was like, I need you to clean us off, and I need you to obscure our tracks and turn whatever that is behind us around. And the wind just picked up like that. I mean, it was instantaneous. This wind comes up out of nowhere. Absolutely, like it was a palpable sensation of being cleaned off and getting whatever hooks were on us out of us, and then turning that thing around and obscuring our tracks. And then we went sort of a circuitous way home, not looking back. But yeah, that was that.
That's
And
cool.
that's always what happens with her. She like leads us into these situations and I'm like, this is a really bad idea. And then something happens and then we learn some fucking magic to deal with whatever it was that just happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a whole nother level of things. When you like if you're at the point where you see everything that happens to you as like, oh, it's a learning experience, or it's what kills me. And either way is okay. Like at that point, you're good. Like
Yeah.
as long as you know you go, oops, what can we do different next time? Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, that kind of like not today thing, like not here. I mean, my experience with it in the States is like way more intense. Just in general, like land there is more it's more like, no, we're going to kill you if you don't turn around.
Yes.
We're gonna fucking you David Politis is gonna be the next time people hear your name. Like, um, but here it's different. Like you still get the like, no, not this way. Don't but it's much more like European and like older and settled feeling. And it's really interesting to me how
Please turn around now, sir.
no, I mean they're even
You've come too far into our very dark woods.
there's some incredibly potent and like, but it's
You're not
like
invited.
it's like trolls banging tree stumps and yeah, there's some
Oh
really,
man, that
really
sounds really awesome.
they're like really potent spirits that feel kind of intimidating, but they're like actually not like they're not hard to communicate with. You know, you can just kind of like, oh, sorry, I'll go that way, or hey, I just kind of wanted to like see what was over here. Is that cool? Like, and sometimes it's like, yeah, it is cool. That's fine. Just making sure you weren't an asshole.
Yeah.
Um, and I
I
feel like I think there's like a lot less like I don't know. At least it things feel a lot different in Germany. When you cross the border, it's a different vibe. But here it feels pretty peaceful. And there's like a very clear, like if you're going the wrong way, it's like no, it's a firm no, but it's not threatening in the same way that spirits in the States feel like they're on,
Murderous.
yes, they're on land that has like been mistreated and they're yeah, they're out for blood sometimes.
Yeah. Like it's if you keep walking, we will disappear you.
Yeah, it's gonna be you're gonna be on missing 411. I'm telling you, like that. And you know, David Politis might be in on it, man. That's his job. He might be working with them.
David Politis, avatar of angry land spirits. So when we first built the Aldebaran oil, I had an Aldebaran oil that was like already partway made, but like when Jupiter hit Aldebaran, we went camping for my birthday out at this place called Indigo Springs. Don't go there. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, don't go to Indigo Springs. It's terrible. Uh, I'm saying that to throw people off. It's the most beautiful place, and the water is so fucking incredible. And it just like comes rushing out of the side of this fucking little bank in the woods. It's a fairy tale place. It is stunning. There's like 3 campsites. One of them is like, I mean, like this water. Basically, a strong stream just comes gushing out of the earth, right behind one of the campsites. But so we went there to do the Aldebaran stuff. I was like, cool, we'll do this out here. And I asked before we started if the land spirits there were cool with me doing some like sort of big star magic as like, hey, it's the first time I'd ever been there. I was like, hey, total stranger here. You mind if I get really weird? And they were like, yeah, it's okay. And so I did. And then a couple
That
days
tone.
later, same trip. I had also brought a bunch of coconuts to do a Ganesha coconut smashing obstacle removal thing
Mm.
for some clients, and I did not ask to do that before I did it,
Mm.
and I broke the coconuts. I feel like such an idiot even saying this out loud. Without asking the spirit of the spring, without asking the spirit of the river, without asking the spirits of the forest, who are wild as shit. They were very clear. There's a bridge that crosses the stream, and I was like, cool, we're gonna go over there at night. There's this little like clearing right on like a little just like a little landing pad with 7 trees around the outside. I mean, like it's a fairy circle. Like let's be real. Um, I was like, we're going to go over there and do some magic at night. And then the sun went down and everything in me was screaming, you cannot cross that bridge for anything, for any reason. And so I always do the Ganesh thing at sunset. That's like you do it. You break the coconuts at sunset. You let the sun take whatever obstacles with it as it goes into the underworld. That's the deal, right? And so I smashed these 7 coconuts uh, into the stream like an asshole without asking, and was absolutely beset with terrible, murderous, ancient land spirit rage.
Mm.
And I froze so hard because I recognized that I had fucked up, royally fucked up. Because like springs are intimately tied with Nagas, right? I had been working with Nagas, but like it was a year and a half ago at this point. My relationship with them was different than it is now. And I know better than to approach a spring without asking. And I certainly know better now than to do some stupid shit like bust some coconuts into the cleanest spring, like releasing other people's obstacles into that
Mm.
purest of waters to like be rushed downstream. So I I had to get down on my knees and it was dark at this point. I had to go back down to the stream, not cross the bridge, never cross the bridge at night. Um, and I'd like get down on my knees and apologize. And really, really glad that I did have a pre-existing relationship with the Nagas because they gave me a lot of leeway with that. But it took some big apologies, and we all got super sick
Mm.
Mm.
as a as recompense for that transgression. Like, I mean, I have never had food poisoning before, so I did not know what was happening to me. And you know, I could pin it on eating some watermelon that had sat out all day, but I know that what it was because I've done that like a million times before and never got sick. I know
Yeah.
that what it was the spirits going, yeah, you're gonna purge all that fucking idiocy out of you, you dick. So yeah, just shitting and vomiting for like 12 hours, and everybody, Ziggy, Sarah, me, it was we all
It
paid the
might,
price on that one.
you might have just been processing their anger. Like,
It definitely could be like it was a strong purge.
it
But yeah,
sounds like,
like
because like when you're filled instantly with a bunch of energy that's like from another being and it's not charged well, like it's not friendly. It's got to go somewhere afterwards. And I think a lot of, I know for me at least, a lot of the times, if something shitty happens, my body will process it out. And it's
yeah,
like
same.
it gets this weird like sort of like, oh, my stomach fucked up, and then it's like, no, I just, oh, okay, and then like veil lifts and I feel better, and I'm like, oh, okay, weird.
Yeah.
Is my liver smudging me right now? Uh, but that is wild, really wild.
I
And
love Indigo Springs, and I wanted to go back this summer, but it was just not right. Um,
well, I'm just still sitting with like I'm, yeah, the the fairy circle of trees on the other side being already inherently like magical and clearly someone else's property, like on a spiritual level, but like then the spring being pure and like the coconut it was an obstacle clear. So it's like essentially obstacles got dumped in the pure water. And that's
yes.
probably what was so offensive.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I know for sure that if I had just asked,
Right.
I could have that it would have been like yes,
They
but
probably would
or
have
like
helped you.
yeah. But to just do it, to just walk in there like a fucking American tourist and shit all over this beautiful place, did not go over well.
Yeah. It's, Damn. So yeah, let that be a lesson to everyone out there.
Yes.
And
Talk to your fucking springs. Talk
that's
to your
a
rivers. Talk to the fucking spirits around you all the time, even if you look crazy, especially if you look crazy.
I mean I've known practitioners who are good at magic and they're people I respect and but they like and it surprised me to learn that they really didn't give much like pay much mind to what was going on with land spirits at all. But they did a lot of magic, like constantly. And
Yeah.
it just it's strange to me how different that is from my modality is like address the ground first usually.
Yeah. Get in there with the gnomes and the Nagas. Make sure everything's cool on the foundation you're trying to build shit on.
Right. Right.
I unfortunately have got to run.
Yeah. Yeah, actually it's probably a pretty good place to call the episode.
Yeah.
But Tyler, if you want to, yeah, obviously it's from Cormorant Cunning Craft, so that's where you find them. But if there's anything else you want to add, plugging wise.
Uh, I don't think so. Yeah, Cormorant Cunning Craft on Instagram and Substack has all the info. The oils are probably going to be released. Like we're in the process of shifting things around a little bit, and so once that shift has settled, we will do the proper release. Until then, I'll just keep like teasing it and stuff and talking about them. But yeah, we're really excited for this, and I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is my first podcast. I'm super
Oh,
stoked to have it be this one.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, we're proud to have you as this your first podcast. I was gonna do the but break your podcast cherry, and then I was like, that's dumb. Don't say that.
I almost said that too.
Well, here's the thing. You guys actually did say it. You just couched it in bullshit,
That's
so you
I
can
did.
pretend like you didn't say it,
I
but you
did.
said it.
Yeah. Well, it felt like it got stuck in my throat, and I didn't want to have to do energy work later to like clear that out, you know?
Thank you guys so much. I can't tell you how nice this was. This was a blast.
Now it was
Yeah, this
great
was
to
great.
great to
It was
finally
great to
talk
talk
to
to you.
you. And yeah, hear all the backstories and stuff. It's been really fun. And yeah, we'll have you back on some point soon too.
Anytime.
Cool, cool. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. If you're at home, be safe, remember who you are, and have fun.
Ta ta.